Hi, this is Matt with State of Flux here with a rapid-fire review session because this past week I saw four movies that all released earlier this summer. Finally got around to seeing them and I had thoughts on each and every single one. So I'm going to start in the order with which I watched them, which is DC League of Super Pets. This is a really cute, charming movie. DC animation has always been in top form, especially with their theatrical releases. Batman Mask of the Phantasm is a masterpiece of 90s superhero cinema, as well as I thought Teen Titans Go to the Movies was one of the strongest things DC has put out in theaters, to the point when it came out, when they were trying to launch their own DCEU. This movie is kind of no exception. It has the embrace of fun and sort of the sly sense of humor that oftentimes you do find in the comics. People tend to look at DC Comics and the stark seriousness of them, and yes, like if you're reading exclusively Batman or something like that, you do get that. But most of the time, especially if you're reading like Superman comics and stuff like that, there is a little bit of levity to it. And this film I thought was super fun. The voice work is pretty great. The animation itself is very good. It's sort of like DC by way of Secret Life of Pets style animation, but a considerably better movie than that. It's a movie that I recommend, especially if you have kids, and kids that are beginning to get an interest in superheroes, as mine are. So I give it a recommendation. 3 stars, C, DC League of Super Pets. Alright. The next movie I saw was Beast. As far as man get bit by animal, ow it hurts, oh god, movies go, this is one of the best of the genre. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. It's really, really fun and really, really compelling. Yeah, it's based on sort of a dumbass premise of like a safari gone wrong, but I thought that the film handles the situation well. The characters act with some kind of logic, and when they're not acting logically, it's to make your experience of watching Man vs. Beast a really fun and exciting one. The beastly acts and stuff are pretty grisly and grim. This movie weirdly takes like the kind of idea of Jaws: The Revenge of the animal is trying to get vengeance on those that have harmed him, and Idris Elba and his family kind of get in the way of his slaughter rampage. But it was fun as hell and so much better looking than it has any right to be. This movie has probably what I would consider the best cinematography I have seen all year. The camera is moving. The camera is a fucking character in this movie. And if it's not acknowledged at award season time, I'm gonna lose my shit. I will literally flip a table. It might be a little kiddie table, but it'll happen, I tell you. So yeah, I give Beast a very strong 3 stars. It is like up there. It's in not nowhere near the same league as Jaws, but for any Beast movie that came out after Jaws, this is easily one of the best I've seen. So check out Beast. Moving on to Don't Worry Darling. Yeah, internet, you're mean. This movie is perfectly fine. It is better than fine. This is a good movie. This is a movie that I enjoyed the hell out of. My only complaint with the movie is I was so invested in the main character and the way that the film is designed. I felt like this was more of a pilot to an HBO Max TV show than it was a feature film. It felt like a 2-hour pilot that had me ready and roaring to go to continue watching. It is well written. I like the creepy nature of how it was shot and edited. I know some people thought the editing specifically was clunky in the visual language of the film, but I disagree. I thought visually it was really interesting in how the story unfolds to us in little blips and pops of imagery that tells you something is not of the norm. I thought this movie was like, even though I kind of figured out where it was going kind of early on how a man's fantasy is a woman's nightmare, and the movie's a little on the nose with it, just because it's on the nose doesn't mean it's fucking bad. It is good. It is really good. And I feel like this is one of those situations where somebody a public figure is getting media attention that starts listing negative, and one critic didn't like something or didn't like it as much as they were anticipating. I think expectation is at play here. Because this was going into the season, the first big Oscar contender of the fall winter season, and when they saw it, and it wasn't necessarily up to par for Best Picture material, it started the dog pile. And because somebody didn't like it as much as they wanted, it turned into somebody didn't like it, which turned into this movie sucks, which turns into this movie is the worst, which then it became a competition almost to see who could have the best negative review headline. This movie does not warrant that, under any stretch of the imagination. And as for Harry Styles, I don't know why you guys are dogging on him. He's not bad in the movie. He's kind of just an indifferent character. Yeah, he's crucial to what ultimately plays out in the movie, but by design his character is just supposed to be like a nothing character, a person you look past, look beyond, not at. And so the fact that he's not giving a powerhouse performance doesn't mean that he's giving a bad performance. He's giving a good performance, and when he certain scenes he has an accent, and certain scenes he doesn't, it works within the context of the film, and I think he does both adequately, if not flat out good. And the reason that I call bullshit on this is I feel this is a situation where it's leaning into the sexism of it all. When he was one of the primary characters and the only named star besides Tom Hardy and Kenneth Branagh and Christopher fucking Nolan's Dunkirk, nobody batted an eye. They were like, oh shit, this movie's got one of them One Direction kids. Like, nobody was shitting their pants or shitting on him in any stretch of the imagination. A female director takes control, one that is supposedly in a romance with her, or with him, and suddenly everybody's at him and at her and stuff like that. That's kind of sexist bullshit, especially considering the Nolan film in question starred like Kenneth Branagh, who's very famously had romances with more than one of his on-screen co-stars, and nobody batted an eye. And it happens all the time with male directors dating a female counterpart, and they oftentimes don't shit on the filmmaker. Olivia Wilde made a perfectly good movie, one that I give 3.5 stars to. I think this movie is great. Internet, you're mean. Moving on. Barbarian. I finished watching really late last night, and this is a roller coaster of a fucking experience. I loved the shit out of Barbarian. It's one of my favorite movies of 2022. Certainly one of the most fun times I've had, while also being like the suspense level in this film, because you really don't know where it's going, is so effective. Like, my suspense level was like at super highs throughout multiple segments of the movie, and the film just keeps twisting gears, and you don't know what is going to happen or why it's happening. And the way that the story kind of unfolds is pretty great. Bill Skarsgård gives a great performance, as he do. Justin Long kind of steals the show at a certain point, as he do. He's one of my favorite actors, and he does not get enough recognition. Even when he's in bad movies, he is tremendous in them. And he's one of those actors that I will watch in literally anything. So I'm a fan. Barbarian is so good. I recommend it, but it is not an easy watch. It's a super suspenseful movie that turns violent, and when it goes violent, it becomes the most violent movie ever. But there's very small segments of violence. It is more of a suspense thriller mind fuck of a journey. It's very kind of like it offered the same feel of an Evil Dead or a Drag Me to Hell, while also being an actual cinematic movie that is trying to tell a story and not just have like crazy wild fun. Even though it has its cake and eats it too. So I give that one also a very strong 3.5 stars. With further viewings, this could teeter into the 4-star thing. This is one of the best horror movies I've seen in quite some time. Best original horror movies, I should say. So there you have it. This is my the 4 movies, all 4 recommendations, and I actually kind of liked them in the order with which I watched them. DC Super Pets is fun for the kids, and you'll have a good time too. There's enough humor. The humor skews dark. There's even like Freddy Krueger references and stuff like that in the movie for the adults if they're listening and paying attention. Beast, super fun, like man versus beast story. Don't worry, darling, Internet and You're Mean, that movie is perfectly fine, better than fine, it is great, and Barbarian is one of my favorites of the year. Certainly the best original horror movie that I've seen this year. That's what I still haven't seen. Smile, we'll watch it soon. Anyway, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and let me know what you thought of these movies in the comments down below. I want a star rating out of 4 for each of these 4 films if you've seen them. Drop them down below. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, peace.